Thank you so much for joining me this morning. So excited to have you all here as we unveil the Paving Our Path to 2030. It's the College of Medicine Strategic Plan Overview. And for those of you who don't know me, my name's Sarah Forgie. I'm the Dean of the College of Medicine here at the amazing University of Saskatchewan. So I'd like to start in a good way with a land acknowledgement. So as we gather here today, we acknowledge that the College of Medicine is across the province. It's located on treaties 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10, and the territories and the homeland of the Métis. We pay our respects to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationships with one another. So I have learned so much from so many Indigenous colleagues in many different treaties and territories, and from Métis colleagues as well. And I think one of the most paradigm-shifting lessons that I have learned is about listening to and respecting each other's stories, and sharing stories that come from our hearts and less so from our brains. And that has inspired me on my journey, and I love sharing the stories and hearing about your stories as well. So I was thinking about this day today and working with the absolutely outstanding team in the Dean's office, and thought, well, I'm going to start with a story. And thinking back to when I had been approached about interviewing for this position at the University of Saskatchewan. So it was in the summer of 2023. I was quite happy with my job and where I was and what I was doing at the University of Alberta. And I thought, well, this is an interesting opportunity. And I remember going home and talking to my family, and they said, well, why don't you look into it? I spoke with the leader of the search firm, and then I submitted my application, and I was invited to do a virtual interview. And then I was shortlisted. And I thought, wow, this is really becoming real. And I remember I came in mid-December, and I wasn't fooled because it was really warm and it was sunny, and I knew that was not typical for a Saskatchewan winter. But I came, and I thought, wow, this is a really, really amazing place. And what really drew me here and has become a thread through my journey has been the people. And so some of you might remember, and I keep saying in my younger, more naive days, which was a year and a half ago, before starting this job, I was asked to do a vision talk, which I felt was a little bit presumptuous for an outsider coming in. But what I talked about in that vision talk was desire paths. So I'll tell you a little bit more about this picture in 1 minute. But I wanted to tell my story about how I got to now, and how it was a little bit less of an intentional, very straight path or a highway to now, and it was more of a meandering. I kind of walked in different directions and didn't follow the path that many people had advised me to do. And I found out about a concept called desire paths. And what desire paths are, this was something coined by a poet, Robert Macfarlane. And what he said was they were paths and tracks made over time by the wishes and feet of walkers, especially those paths that run contrary to design or planning. I've subsequently found out that architects call those elephant paths, and it's the elephants are smart, so are the humans. They sometimes don't follow where the paved paths are. It does drive our facilities crew nuts, I think, in our bowl when I see the paths. And I asked some colleagues if they could send me some examples of desire paths, and this is Helen Chang in Regina, and Jackie Krauscher, who took the picture, but she's pointing out the desire path where people actually went off where the paving was. And Andrew Furman, who is a professor at Toronto Metropolitan University, said that desire paths are like the endless human desire to have choice. An individual can really write their own story. It's something really powerful if you do have that agency. And that is what we've done with creating this plan. We have come to all of you and talked about, well, where would you like to go? Because this isn't my plan, this is our plan. Something else that I talked about in that, again, naive, hopeful moment when I was doing my vision talk a year and a half ago, was I talked about being good and doing good, and joy and work. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about Aristotle. I'm sure you all know who Aristotle was, a Greek philosopher. And Aristotle talked about two concepts. One was called hedonia, and the other was called eudaimonia. And hedonia, or hedonic happiness, is I'm going to eat this ice cream cone. I'm going to feel really good in the short term. Long term, probably not so good for you. And he talked about a concept called eudaimonic happiness. And all of us have inside of us something called a daimon. It's spelled D-A-I-M-O-N. And that is the best version of ourselves. And what we need to do to achieve joy in our lives is actually to strive to be that version of ourselves. And it's really different from that hedonic happiness, the frolicking through the fields kind of happiness. It's that state of contentment that really transcends circumstances. And I like to say it's a choice, so choosing joy. And I've been researching this and working on this since the early 2000s, looking at how as a leader I can help colleagues and myself create joy and that contentment in their workplace that will transcend circumstances. And I actually came across a paper called Joy in Work by the Institute for Healthcare Improvement. It was about joy, doing more of that in academic medicine. I did a scoping review that was just published this year, and we found 2,000 papers that looked at, it's really like looking at everything from a keyword search that was related to joy in work, satisfaction in your work. And in the end, when we actually interrogated all of those papers and went through it, out of the almost 2,000 of them, there were only 25 that actually talked about really achieving joy and having that contentment in your work. And I realized there's a lot of work to be done in that area. The other things I talked about in that vision talk were people, education, research, and leadership. Not rocket science, because it's really the core of what we do, but I just thought it's interesting because I've come from there to now. So I drove here on July 1st and hit the ground running on July 2nd, realized there was nobody in the office on July 1st. That is okay. What I did was I really wanted to meet people where they were. And so traveled around the province. I haven't done a train yet, but I've done planes. I haven't done a boat either. So we've done planes, we've done a lot of cars, we did a van, done a bus. And I keep joking that to fly to Regina, I probably have to go via Vancouver, but we will get there. But I have gone to Regina. I've tried to go every month. And I've explored the north and the south parts of the province and tried to capture as much as I can on Instagram, just to let people know that I've been around. And you can see some of the amazing people that we work with on this compilation, just some of the people along the way. So as I traveled and I met with members of our college community, and I know some of you, I have asked you these questions, I asked about your vision for the college. And I like to ask even though we're scientists, my magic wand question. So I'd say, hey, if I had a magic wand and I handed it to you, what would you want to do with the College of Medicine? And man, I got some really amazing answers with that. And the other question I asked was, if you were me, what would you do? Also, some amazing answers. So building on that, in the fall of 2024, met with our amazing project planning team and looked at how can we lay the groundwork for a college-wide collaborative approach to strategic planning. So many of those people are in the room today. I just want to say thank you to you, Crystal and Catherine and Liz and Caitlin and Trenna and Allison. And also to the leadership team. So many of you have helped with the groundwork part, and I'm going to tell you about how we engage so many others over time. Because I really felt like how we developed the plan was just as, if not more important than the plan itself. And what I really wanted to do was engage with the humans and bring you in, because we wanted to focus on a strength-based approach, because there are so many strengths at the University of Saskatchewan. Create opportunities both during the planning process, but also as we move forward for our community to connect with one another. and come together and share rich discussions about the future of our College of Medicine and what is possible here. Wanted to have multiple ways to hear from our college community to ensure that everybody in every corner of this province could let us know what they were thinking. We used a qualitative approach, and it's called appreciative inquiry. And what we wanted to allow was for people to talk about their hopes and aspirations for the college in their own words. So less so of a survey and checking boxes, although we did do that too, but really wanted to capture what people felt in their own words. And then we had an iterative process, again with that qualitative research approach, where we kept listening, refining, and coming up with themes. Multiple cycles of asking for input in many different ways, reflecting back what we were hearing, drafting and refining the plan, and then asking for more feedback. It was really an amazing process. So, from January to June of 2025, after laying that groundwork, we put together more information. So we based some of it on the information that I had gathered with the magic wand question, and if you were me, what would you do? We did an aspiration survey online. We did interviews. They were all of the leaders within the College of Medicine. We interviewed them sometimes for over an hour and then gathered the information from that. I had future-focused conversations with staff, students, faculty, and alumni. So these were multiple groups that I met with, mostly virtual, and then I had one in-person meeting in Regina. And we had to pivot with some of those because of the forest fires. So we heard from our rural family docs up north that wasn't a great time. So we pivoted, did things at a different time because we really wanted to ensure we heard everybody. And then the team also did a landscape analysis of other universities. What were other universities looking at? How were they moving forward so we could incorporate that in our plan? And we looked at what's happening here. So we looked at our previous plan at the College of Medicine. We looked at other plans within the University of Saskatchewan, and then the strat plan for the university. Some of the things we heard around the themes related to people and staff. What people wanted to see was faculty and staff feel a sense of ownership and belonging to the college, saying, I'm not working for the college, I am the college. Alumni feel connected to the college, looking back at their time here with pride. Students choose to stay and work in Saskatchewan because of their positive experiences at the college. For the partners and the people of Saskatchewan, we would hope that they say, we are not a well-kept secret. We are a source of pride for the province. The college is seen as a cornerstone in the effort to improve health in the province. The college is seen as a trusted source of evidence and innovation. The college's impact is identifiable and felt by people outside the organization. So in phase 2, from May to September, after we had gathered all of that information, done a lot of iterative review, theming, we were able to distill the input into a draft mission and vision and values. And then we shared them with this group that you can see on the screen here. These are values champions. So we had asked the college to nominate people that you felt embodied and lived the values of our College of Medicine. We had 18 peer-reviewed nominated faculty, staff, and alumni from departments and units across the province. They were kind enough to come together over the summer, so you can see we're there on Zoom. Many of us were actually in different places, some were on holidays, and I was so pleased. This group was incredibly dedicated to this and provided feedback on the draft mission, vision, and they refined the list of organizational values and talked about how we could actually demonstrate these values through our day-to-day actions and decisions. Something I really appreciated about these values champions, some of whom are in the room today, is we asked a lot of them. They did a survey prior to with a list of draft values, and we could see these change over time because we kept resurveying them. They were so engaged in the discussions, and some really cool things is they broadened and renamed innovation. It became curiosity. A new value emerged called belonging that really resonated with our values champions. And we had, again, saw things shifting. Well-being was at the bottom of the list during the initial vote to one of our top 5, which really reinforced what we wanted to do, which was focusing and supporting our people. So in phase 3, from September to October, so right now, for one more day, we conducted another college-wide survey to get input on the draft mission, vision, values, received very thoughtful feedback, incorporated that into the draft, and then we had a retreat with our senior leaders at Marquis Hall. It's a full-day retreat with an incredibly engaged group, our leadership team, so approximately 30 colleagues who made final edits to the vision and mission statements and revised the goals within each focus area. I remember we had broken into groups. It was so noisy in that room, and I can see one colleague whose mantra was less is more with group 4, so we had less words eventually. We really, from another colleague, really refined the vision to highlight it as being future focused. And we emphasized service, so actually changed the order of things that we're doing. So we wanted to ensure that all of our College of Medicine colleagues felt heard and saw themselves in the plan. I was so excited because my travels have continued, and I heard from rural family docs who said they felt really included with the process. I heard from researchers, staff, and students and colleagues in our basic science departments and community health and epidemiology that said they really saw themselves in the plan and appreciated the efforts to involve them because they felt like they were part of this. So I started my journey talking about desire paths. And as I said, the architects who take this approach will wait and see where the feet go, and then they pave the paths. So similarly, over the last many months, we listened and we worked together, watching where you wanted to go and the paths you wanted to follow. We took that information, we iterated and analyzed and distilled. You led the way, and now we are ready to pave the paths. So here it is. This is our vision. It's where we are going. So rooted in Saskatchewan communities, we shape a healthier future. We had taken all the information we gathered, looked for the themes. We had help from leadership, values champions, and all of you. Our previous University of Saskatchewan plan focused on being what the world needs, and they did an amazing job, a wonderful job. They have traveled all around the world and really put the University of Saskatchewan on the map. Our new president has a similar approach to what I really wanted to do, which was to look at what does Saskatchewan need. So our vision is future-looking. It's refocusing on what Saskatchewan needs because our strengths and challenges here will inform the world. It is about us and Saskatchewan. Our mission is what we do. We cultivate the health and well-being. How we do it through service. That, again, as I said, is going first now after meeting with our leaders. Education, scholarship, and research that matters. And for whom it's for all peoples of Saskatchewan. From our values champions, we have the values that really talk about who we are. Our college is guided by a set of core values. They define what is important to us and are demonstrated through our everyday actions and decisions. So what the values champions have done, and you'll see this on our website, is really outlined what do these mean to us. So we are accountable. We honor our commitments and take ownership of our decisions, guided by integrity and purpose. We hold ourselves accountable to one another and the communities we serve. Through responsible stewardship of resources and transparent actions, we advance the college's mission, uphold our social and environmental responsibilities, and foster trust in all of our relationships. We foster belonging. We create inclusive and accessible spaces where everyone is respected, valued, and empowered to contribute as their authentic selves. We are collaborative. We work across roles, units, departments, colleges, organizations, and communities to achieve shared goals. We contribute meaningfully by building relationships, sharing knowledge, and acting with care, humility, and purpose. We are curious. We foster a culture of innovation, inquiry, and continuous learning by encouraging bold thinking and turning creative ideas into action. And we nurture well-being. We support the mental, emotional, and physical health of learners, staff, and faculty. And these are our commitments. So these are, I like to think of the values are really like our central nervous system, and how do you translate it into everything that we do, so into our peripheral nervous system. And these are our cross-cutting commitments. They guide us in all that we do. They offer clear, consistent lines of thinking that link the highest level vision, mission, and values into our day-to-day activities. It ensures that every action, decision, and project is aligned with our overarching strategy, which creates a purpose-driven environment. I like to think it weaves it all together and provides a framework for performance and decision-making across all levels of the organization. So with our commitments, we are connecting, focusing on our unique role as the College of Medicine for Saskatchewan. We foster strong reciprocal relationships with communities and partners to enhance collaboration, relevance, and shared success across all of our work. Advancing truth and reconciliation, we are committed to learning from the past and taking real steps towards fairness and respect. This means listening to Indigenous voices and actively responding to the truth and reconciliation calls to action. Reflecting and learning, we pursue continuous improvement and innovation, using reflection and evidence to evolve and elevate our impact in education, research, and service. Embedding equity, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility principles, we commit to providing equity of opportunity for all, deepening diversity across our college community, and enhancing inclusivity and accessibility in our places of work and study. And finally, sharing our stories. We actively share our voices, experiences, and achievements to build understanding, pride, and connection within and beyond our college. So one of our colleagues noted, if we change the order of the words, it actually spells cares. So our commitments, the College of Medicine at the University of Saskatchewan cares. So like I said, people are at the top of all of this, at the center, the core of everything we do. People are first. So we are a thriving community, proud to learn, work, and lead together. So we've got goals, which we've got growing joy and fulfillment, supporting lifelong learning and career development, attracting, training, and retaining the people the province needs, and then fostering a culture of recognition, appreciation, and celebration. Next, we have education, of course. We are skilled, engaged educators and empowered learners making meaningful contributions in our fields and communities. And we had a lot of conversations about this, some from the point of view of, well, we're teachers, and then we realized we're actually all teachers and we're all learners. So that's why it's phrased this way, that we are empowered learners. So our goals as a College of Medicine is to provide high-quality education in supportive learning environments, growing programming to meet Saskatchewan's evolving health needs, adapting and responding to emerging technologies. This was our nod to things like artificial intelligence, which we heard a lot about, enhance rural and remote learning opportunities, and increasing opportunities to learn together. In research, we are a network excelling in innovation, research, scholarship, and quality improvement. Again, we had a lot of discussions about words and how words matter, and even many pieces around the word excellent, and should excellent appear somewhere in the plan. And we realized excellent was more of a destination, and excelling was more related to the journey, hence the word excelling here. And so the goals are to expand research and scholarship visibility, opportunities, and impact, to enhance equitable access to research and scholarship support, diversify funding sources and increase research success, amplify collaborative interdisciplinary research and scholarship, so that's both within the College of Medicine and beyond, foster authentic, community-engaged research and scholarship. And with that, I like to think that not only are we all learners, we're also all researchers. and approaching our work with an academic lens, whether that's through scholarship of teaching and learning, quality improvement, clinical innovation, being a part of clinical trials, partnering with biomedical scientists if you're a clinician, or doing the benchtop research as a biomedical researcher, and then engaging in the knowledge translation of that. So another piece that you won't see on these slides, but you will see on the website, is we also talked about foundational investments. So what we need to do is make thoughtful and strategic investments in people, technology, and infrastructure to optimize administrative processes, to align resources with our focus areas and commitments. Crystal likes to say that I have these Sarah things that I say, and one of them is, can we make it easier for you to work with us? And that's something that I would love to see. So, next steps. We need your help. Again, because this is our plan. We will continue to engage as we move forward. There's a survey, so pull out your phones. For those of you online, you can also pull out your phones. We need your survey, help with the survey, to get your input on our goals and how we will know that we have achieved them, measure progress, and ensure that the goals align with our commitments. So that, as you know, we're not quite at the full plan yet, because we need to outline what are we going to do and how are we going to get there. We will also connect with our partners across the province and ask, what does it look like to you when the College of Medicine has achieved these goals? We're going to be establishing working groups, so hey, if you want to get involved, it will be an amazing time, and I promise we will also feed you. These working groups are going to develop college-level implementation plans for each focus area. They will include content experts and champions from across the province and across the college. And these working groups will use information from the survey. For each goal, we would love for them to identify how we will measure progress in 1, 3, and 5 years, recommend college-level strategies to meet the goals, and then the foundational investments that we need to do to support the strategies. Propose how we will demonstrate each of our commitments as we pursue that goal, and we'll continue to share the stories and updates about our progress with our partners and college community. And then I know departments and units also want to look at developing their own plans that align with and contribute to our college plan, so multiple layers of moving forward. And we'll also share our plan centrally because our new president, who starts January 1st, Dr. Bruni Bossio, as I said, who's also looking at how do we refocus on Saskatchewan and use our work here to inform the rest of the world. What I hope is our plan can help inform their plan centrally as well. So we've got, our colleagues have put a whole whackload of stuff on our website. We've got e-news, social media. I try and post across LinkedIn and Instagram. And I know that the College of Medicine and USask have also got their social media feeds as well. So keep checking those out. There will be more info to come. And like I said, we need your help. So please come and join us in these working groups and contribute via the survey, because this is our College of Medicine for Saskatchewan. Thank you.